All right, everyone, welcome back into another fantasy golf video. We are going to be breaking down the top pool picks for each tier for the PGA Championship. Let's go ahead and get into it. And to do that, we're going to go tier by tier like we did for the Masters tournament. I do want to get into a quick recap from the Masters tournament. It did end up being a little bit hit or miss, as I suggested during that video. I did mention that I wanted to begin to Scotty the most in terms of tier 1 pick because he was the safest, because we could essentially lock in a top 5 finish, which is what he did, finishing 4th. I also did mention that it did really seem like Rory could go out and win that week, and I wouldn't blame you guys for picking him. Obviously, he did that. And then the safe pick was Morikawa. We finished 14th as well. I kind of mentioned didn't really need to get too cute. Scotty was the easy pick there, which ended up finishing 4th. We did get screwed by Russell Henley missing the cut after a terrible round in round 1. Did bounce back and have one of the best rounds though in round 2, just kind of unlucky there. Neiman was fine. Here is where we really made the biggest difference, with Corey Connors finishing 8th. In tier 4, I mentioned it was kind of a toss-up, and this was the make or break point. If you guys had a good pool, it's because you ended up on Patrick Reed, who finished 3rd. Okay, that was the biggest difference there. Lucas Glover was let down, and then Denny McCarthy ended up finishing 29th. So a little bit of hit or miss nature, but obviously a bunch of upside in there, guys, with being on the winner, a top 10 finisher, and then the 3rd place finisher as well, while also getting on a tier 6 player that made the cut as well. We'll take that any day of the week. And so yes, in this video, we're just going to go tier by tier, telling you guys which golfers are going to be the top picks and plays for each tier, and really why, kind of the thought and logic going into each of those picks. So let's go ahead and start off with tier number 1. And so we go ahead and get into tier number 1. This is a little bit more difficult this week as well, because you look at Scotty, you look at Rory, they're both at about 4.5 to 1 odds. There are two golfers that have a 90% likelihood to make the cut as well, so there's safety mixed in there. Honestly, we should keep it simple, and we're choosing between one of those two. I would typically say, like in this situation, go with the player that's going to be the least popular among the people in your office pools. The issue is, I think Rory has the most buzz, but at the same time, I think it's just naturally going to be 50-50. Sure, some people might get cute with Bryson, and you can certainly be on Bryson. It wouldn't be surprising to see him play well. Xander is an interesting click here as well. Like if you really want to get different and maybe potentially gain some leverage on the field, you could get on him. But really, guys, it's between Scotty, Rory, maybe Bryson, but I think Xander is kind of the dark horse pick in this range, but we don't have to get cute. I do want to show you guys kind of why Xander could pop. And so this is just being taken from the 9-to-5 cheat sheet, which is just a data source on 9to5sports.com. And I just want to call it Xander Schauffele here. So the course is being played at the Wells Fargo Championship course, Quail Hollow, which we have seen in 2024, 2023, and then 2021. The President's Cup was played at that course in 2022, so the Wells Fargo Championship did not take place there. That is what this is denoting there. H4 is actually going to be an average finish over the last 4 majors that were played, obviously including the Masters in 2025, and then the last 3 majors as well, the US Open, the PGA Championship, and then the Open Championship. Then we're looking at the key stat data for this week's tournament. Again, because we have seen this course played a decent amount on the PGA Tour, we know which key stats to specifically be looking at. He's not going to grade out well in those key stats because he had started the season out poorly, because he was injured at the start of the season. But over his last 4 starts, which is what we're looking at here right now, 11th, 18th, 8th, and 12th. Okay, really good stuff there. And it's a simple fact that he's finished second at this course. Now you could look at Rory, who has won 2 out of the last 3 starts at this course as well. Very interesting. And then Sky just hasn't played it. So for me, I'm going to go Rory, Scotty, and then if you're doing a 3rd pool pick, office bracket, whatever, you could go with Xander. But those are easily the 3 top picks. And then let's go ahead and get into tier number 2. Tier number 2 is an interesting tier. Just, I think Patrick Cantlay is the safest of the clicks here, but also Corey Connors is right there. Corey Connors is an interesting click, but we just look at it, guys, like in simple, like we can highlight Patrick Cantlay here, has one of the best make cut % likelihoods of anyone in this group, has the best betting odds, and is the top ranked player in the 9-to-5 model. He should be a simple and easy click. We'll call out Seb Straka and Shane Lowry. Both were in a playoff in last week's event. Seb Straka winning, or sorry, they weren't in a playoff. They came down to the wire. Both of them were battling out for basically the whole Sunday. Because of that, I don't know if you would want to be on them. I think they might be just a little bit too mentally exhausted. Victor Hovland has been playing terrible golf. That would just be trying to get lucky. Terrell Hatton, live golfer. Typically speaking, live golfers play about 7 places worse in majors as they typically would on live events. And so I'm just really not targeting them. And so again, Patrick Cantlay or Corey Conners. Tommy Fleetwood was not bad as well, but I think in simple, guys, it's just going to be Patrick Cantlay. Now, I do want to just compare those three golfers real quick, guys. In the 9-to-5 model, which is not taking into account Vegas data at all, it's just kind of the raw rank. Patrick Cantlay is ranked 4th and Corey Conners is ranked 3rd. So like most of you guys, that probably doesn't matter. The thing that I'm trying to call out is they are basically the same. The difference is that lately, Corey Conners has actually shown a little bit more upside than Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay has just been much safer. Okay, so again, maybe you're shooting for more upside and you want to go with Conners, that's fine. Patrick Cantlay, if you're looking for safety and upside, that's fine as well. But Tommy Fleetwood's right there as well. To me, it's a toss-up between these three. I think Corey Conners is actually probably going to be the least picked golfer among this group. And so because of that, I might try to gain some leverage on the whole field by simply going with Corey Conners, who again is probably just not going to be as selected as everyone else. And so from there, guys, we go ahead and get into tier number 3. Tier number 3 does get a little bit ugly as well. For me, I think it's pretty simple. We're probably just going Daniel Berger. Daniel Berger ranks out extremely well in the 9-to-5 model, has a good made cut rank, and also has a good likelihood to win. 24th outright odds to win. Sungjae Im's interesting in terms of upside. I do see Patrick Cantlay or Patrick Reed making the cut as well, but I want to take a peek at Daniel Berger here for you guys. And so Daniel Berger is interesting because he is going to be one of the golfers that are very good stat fits for this week. Guys, ranking out actually top 10 in the field. Okay, and then recent form wise, top 10 in the field there as well. He's been playing some very great golf since he's returned to the PGA Tour full time. And that's the big caveat here, is that he is someone that hasn't made a start at this tournament over the last 4 years at this course, I should say, Quail Hollow, because he had been banged up. And because of that, he hadn't been playing some great golf. And so finally this year, he has gotten back to kind of his normal self before he got injured. And we have seen that play out really well for him. Top 15 at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, top 20 at the Players Championship, top 30 at the Valero Texas Open, 21st at the Masters, 3rd at the RBC Heritage, and then 11th last week. So really good form for him. Given the fact that he's a good staff vet and given the fact that he is in good form, I do like him. Now, Patrick Reed, when he did play this course last, was about 4 years ago, finished 6th at that event. And he is someone that typically does play well in majors, so I could see getting to him. And a very risk reward option is Sungjae Im, who has finished 4th and 8th at this course over the past 2 years. Also has multiple top 10 finishes this season as well. He's just very inconsistent, although he has made 7 straight cuts as well. So again, not a bad upside option, but I think I'm going with Daniel Berger in this range. Now, guys, tier 4 is actually pretty simple to me. I don't think we have to spend too much time on it. It is going to be Keegan Bradley. Okay, Keegan Bradley did let us down at the Masters, but he is playing some good golf since then as well. Overall, 19th best pick in the 9-to-5 model. I will say Sam Burns is also interesting here as well, but Keegan Bradley should be a safe play, and I'm perfectly fine getting to him there as well. So let's go ahead and jump on into tier number 5. Okay, and so in tier number 5, we are getting one extra player, and that's actually going to be that's actually going to be Keith Mitchell. Keith Mitchell I actually do really like, but you also have Denny McCarthy there, and then you also have JJ Spawn there. I think those are the players that we're going to be going out of our way to target, but I do want to just take a peek at those 3 because it is interesting, especially when you look at it in terms of how DraftKings priced it for DFS purposes. They kind of do their own tiering system with DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports. I want to show you guys that because it is interesting in terms of picking which of those 3 golfers we want to be on. Okay, so just looking at how they're like pricing it salary wise, Keith Mitchell would be the worst option among this group, but then we look at it outright odds on average, Keith Mitchell is actually the best option. When we look at based off of made cut percent, Danny McCarthy's a little bit better, then JJ Spawn, then Keith Mitchell. So it is kind of interesting looking at that. Keith Mitchell is actually the 5th best staff in the field. Keith Mitchell has actually been someone that first round leader wise, basically every single event over the last 5 events has either had the first round lead or finished runner up or 3rd. He's just been dominating in the first round. So I'm kind of banking on that. He has played well at this course in the past. So has Danny McCarthy though. Okay, with a 6th and an 8th, and JJ Spawn as well. These are all quality options. Danny McCarthy has the longest made cut streak going. I think he's the safest option, and among the golfers in this range, we are trying to just get a made cut here probably. But Keith Mitchell, I do think presents some upside given the fact that he is playing great golf, has a 7th and 12th recently, and also just a good stat fit. So I'm perfectly happy to get to him. Kind of we're getting interesting picks here where we have a lot of upside picks, but we also have some safety picks. So it's really up to you and how you want to go about formulating your pool picks if you want to chase more upside or safety. And it kind of depends on how many people are in your pool. You could play it safe if you don't have that many. If you have a lot of people in your office pool picks or family pool picks, whatever, you might want to go a little bit riskier and pick someone like Keith Mitchell there, or just in general, go a little bit more risky. And then let's just take a peek at tier number 6. I do want to sort it by outright odds to start here. Just looking at it, and this is just the rank of the outright odds. This isn't like 40 to 1. This is the Davis Thompson is the 40th most likely golfer to win this week per Vegas odds. And just looking at the 95 mile rank, he is probably the best option. Has a great chance to make the cut as well, 72% chance. But I actually want to sort by this as well, the model rank. He is popping up. Andrew Novak's in there, who's actually been playing great golf as well. Bud Colley's in there. JT Poston's in there. And then there's one other golfer that I want to mention, Mackenzie Hughes. Okay, so let's pull up those several golfers. Okay, so again, just looking at it based off of the DraftKings pricing as well, we are seeing a clear difference among the golfers that are listed here. Davis Thompson's clearly higher priced and, does have course experience, which was a miscut, finishing 81st, which isn't good. Like you look at Jaeger here, who's finished 21st and 27th, and is also coming in with, 7 straight mid-cuts and a top 10 finish. He's also an interesting click there. You look at Andrew Novak, who's been playing great golf as well. He's an interesting option as well. And then we have JT Poston, who is a North Carolina guy, likely to have ties at this event. He's been playing great golf, 12 straight make cuts for him, decent stat fit. He just hasn't fared well at this course. And then you look at someone like Mackenzie Hughes. Mackenzie Hughes is a local. Okay, he finished top 10 at this event last year, and he also has 3 top 10 finishes at this around the PGA Tour over his last 4 starts. He has a missed cut mixed in there, but that was just one bad round at the Byron Nelson, the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, where in the opening round, he actually had the 11th best round. And so really been playing some really good golf, -1 round over his last 4 events. And he's a local guy. So also very interesting there as well. To me, this is very much a toss-up. I don't have any particular golfer that I feel like we need to go out of our way to play here. It's a guessing game. I actually like Mackenzie Hughes. I don't think people are going to scroll down that much to get to that potential upside. But in terms of the golfer that is ranking out the best, I could argue it's going to be Jaeger here, actually. And I think that's the route I want to go. And so let's go ahead and get into the picks again here, guys. So for tier 1, I do think we just want to be getting to Rory again. Like that to me is like the simple and easy pick this week. If people you think are going to be on him a bunch, you can. Scotty then after that. And then if you want to get to Xander, who is the defending champ, you can, who has, 2 straight runner-up finishes at this course. You could do that. I'm perfectly fine with that. And then from there, we go ahead and jump on into this next tier. I am kind of torn between really Patrick Cantlay or Corey Connors. Again, I think Corey Connors will just be less selected, so I think you just want to go with Corey Connors instead. Tier number 3 also is an interesting tier. Again, it's a little bit more difficult. I actually like the idea of getting to Daniel Berger. I think that's going to be a fine selection. Patrick Reed should be safe, but if you're searching for maybe a little bit of risk reward, Sungjae Im is going to be that click for you. From there, tier number 4, probably the most difficult tier, I would say. Like Keegan does seem safe, but I'm not like gung-ho about Keegan like going off and having a great week. Sam Burns is also a safe click here. I'm perfectly fine getting to Sam Burns, but again, is a difficult tier. I really don't like any of them too much. I think they're all just about the same plays as the golfers that are in this tier number 5. So in tier number 5, guys, I do like Danny McCarthy. Again, I'm perfectly happy to get to Danny McCarthy. I also really like Keith Mitchell. He should be solid. And then JJ Spawn is okay as well. I'm probably going with Keith Mitchell, shooting for the upside a little bit later on. And I think that is going to be the correct route to go. And then we go ahead and get into tier number 6. Tier number 6, we do have a lot of good clicks here. Ones that, if you're ending up on them, you can. Davis Thompson's fine. I do like Jaeger. And then Mackenzie Hughes, I do want to highlight as that local ties narrative is definitely interesting. And same thing there with JT Poston, where you could get to him as well. So a little bit too many options, I will say. It's not as direct as kind of last year's majors, where it was pretty easy to dial in on which golfers were clearly the best clicks, but at least we can narrow it down for you guys. The green golfers are going to be the golfers I am selecting for sure. And we'll just do Corey Connors there for you guys to make it a little bit more direct. And let's just go with Sam Burns there as well, just to kind of call out exactly what you guys can do there. If you want to make some pivots, those are in yellow, and then the risk reward options are in red. That's going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. That does help out a bunch. I do appreciate the support. If you guys are someone that does play fantasy golf off regularly each and every week, and you guys want access to the data and the tools that you saw in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com and get access to all the tools available on the website for just $10 a month. Thank you for being here. Again, leave a like and subscribe. That helps out a bunch. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cash.